Welcome to Newsbeacon, your trusted source for breaking headlines, global insights, and sharp analysis from around the world. If you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. Cameras flashed in Beijing, capturing a moment that would reverberate across continents. The atmosphere was charged with anticipation, as journalists and diplomats alike sensed the significance of the event unfolding before them. The president of the Philippines and the leader of China shook hands, a gesture that signaled a dramatic shift in Southeast Asia's political landscape. This handshake was not just a meeting of hands but a meeting of minds, a convergence of interests that had been carefully negotiated over months of diplomatic dialogue. This handshake, months in the making, marked a bold pivot by the Philippines toward China, hinting at a new era of partnership and autonomy. It was a strategic move reflecting Manila's desire to diversify its alliances and assert its independence on the global stage. For decades, the Philippines was a steadfast U.S. ally, bound by military and cultural ties. The two nations shared a history of cooperation, with joint military exercises and cultural exchanges that reinforced their bond. However, the world is changing, and so too are the alliances that define it. Now, standing in the heart of China, the Filipino leader sent a clear message. Manila was ready to explore new alliances, even if it meant redefining old ones. The speech was a declaration of intent, a signal that the Philippines was ready to chart its own course in the complex waters of international relations. The world watched, wondering what this partnership would mean for regional stability, maritime disputes, and the U.S.'s role in the Pacific. Analysts speculated on the implications, debating whether this new alliance would bring peace or further tension to the region. The handshake was more than symbolism. It was the opening act in a new geopolitical drama. It was a statement of intent, a promise of collaboration that could reshape the balance of power in Asia. Three powers, Philippines, China, and the United States, were about to reshape the future of Asia. The stage was set for a new chapter in international relations, one that would be watched closely by the world. As these nations navigated their complex relationships, the outcome would have far-reaching consequences for the global community. At the heart of the agreement lies a sweeping promise. Billions of dollars in Chinese investments are set to flow into the Philippines, targeting the country's most critical infrastructure needs. This isn't just a single project or a one-time deal, it's a comprehensive package that covers a wide range of sectors, all designed to modernize the nation and accelerate its economic growth. The focus is on building new railways to connect distant provinces, upgrading ports to handle more trade, and expanding telecommunications networks to reach even the most remote communities. These investments mean not only new rail lines and modernized ports but also the installation of advanced telecom towers, bringing faster internet and better connectivity to millions of Filipinos. The hope is that these improvements will transform daily life, making transportation easier, boosting trade, and opening up new opportunities for businesses and individuals alike. The deal also promises a surge in jobs and economic activity. Filipino farmers are set to benefit as China agrees to purchase more agricultural products, opening up a vast new market for local produce. At the same time, the agreement aims to boost tourism, with more Chinese visitors expected to arrive, supporting hotels, restaurants, and small businesses across the country. For many, this could mean a real improvement in livelihoods and a chance to participate in the country's growth story. But the agreement isn't just about economics. It also addresses one of the region's most sensitive issues, the South China Sea disputes. Instead of relying on international courts or involving outside powers like the United States, the two countries have agreed to manage their differences through direct talks. This approach is meant to reduce tensions and keep the lines of communication open, even as disagreements persist. For Beijing, this represents a significant diplomatic victory. It allows China to strengthen its influence in the region, showcase its role as a key economic partner, and sideline international criticism over its actions in the South China Sea. For Manila, the agreement is a calculated risk, a pragmatic gamble that prioritizes development and economic opportunity over confrontation. The government is betting that the benefits of Chinese investment and cooperation will outweigh the potential risks of moving closer to Beijing. The Philippines is essentially wagering its future on the hope that economic gains, new jobs, better infrastructure, and increased trade will ultimately prove more valuable than the security guarantees offered by traditional allies. This marks a major strategic realignment for the country. The Philippines is shifting away from a US-centered security alliance, moving instead toward a relationship with China that is driven primarily by economic interests. This new direction could reshape the country's foreign policy for years to come. As a result, the balance of power in Southeast Asia is now in flux. Neighboring countries are watching closely, aware that these changes could have far-reaching consequences for the entire region. The stakes couldn't be higher. The choices made today will shape the Philippines' future, its alliances, and its place in a rapidly changing world. The US-Philippines alliance is rooted in shared history, from World War II camaraderie to the 1951 Mutual Defense Treaty. American military support has long been Manila's security backbone, with joint exercises and a strong cultural connection reinforced by millions of Filipino Americans. The US has provided aid, military equipment, and diplomatic backing, especially in South China Sea disputes. This deep partnership made the US the Philippines' default ally for decades. The new deal with China, however, challenges this foundation, raising alarms in Washington. It signals a potential shift away from the US security umbrella. The question now, can the alliance withstand Manila's new direction? The answer will shape the region's future. China's strategy is clear. Draw the Philippines closer to secure vital shipping lanes and expand its influence in the South China Sea. By partnering with a US treaty ally, Beijing cracks the American alliance network in Asia and showcases the benefits of Chinese cooperation. Direct talks with Manila sideline international rulings and give China leverage in disputed waters. Integrating the Philippines into the Belt and Road Initiative deepens economic ties and political influence. For China, this is a multi-layered victory: maritime security, weakened US alliances, and a stronger regional presence. The deal is framed as mutual benefit, but the strategic gains for Beijing are unmistakable. The regional chessboard has been reset. In Washington, the Philippines-China deal is a red flag. The US relies on its alliance with Manila for access to the South China Sea and is a linchpin in its Indo-Pacific strategy. A Philippine pivot to China could limit US military reach and inspire other allies to follow suit, eroding American influence. There's also worry about undermining international law. Manila's legal victory over China is now set aside for bilateral talks. The US is likely to counter with renewed diplomatic outreach, economic incentives, and a continued military presence. Washington won't cede its influence quietly. The contest for Manila's loyalty is just beginning. The stakes are global. The South China Sea is a cauldron of overlapping claims. China, the Philippines, Vietnam, Malaysia, Brunei, and Taiwan all stake a claim. Rich in resources and vital for trade, the sea's control is a matter of survival. China's sweeping 9-line claim clashes with its neighbors and international law. Massive Chinese island building has militarized the region, sparking confrontations with the Philippines over fishing grounds and reefs. In 2016, Manila won a landmark legal case against China, but Beijing rejected the ruling. Now the Philippines is setting aside that victory for economic cooperation. This shift leaves other claimants isolated and changes the dynamics of regional resistance to China. The rules of engagement have been rewritten. The Philippines is on a quest for economic growth and stability. It is strategically leveraging China's substantial investments to build its infrastructure and boost its economy. These investments are seen as a crucial step towards modernizing the nation and improving the quality of life for its citizens. However, this economic partnership comes with its own set of challenges and opportunities. At the same time, the Philippines is keen on maintaining its long-standing security guarantees with the United States. This military alliance is vital for the country's defense strategy, providing a sense of security against potential regional threats. China, on the other hand, is focused on asserting its regional dominance. It aims to secure crucial sea lanes and weaken US alliances in the region. This ambition is part of a broader strategy to expand its influence and control over the South China Sea, a vital maritime route for global trade. Expanding its Belt and Road Initiative is a key component of China's strategy. Through this initiative, China is investing heavily in infrastructure projects across Southeast Asia, including the Philippines, to create a network of economic dependencies. The United States, meanwhile, is determined to maintain a free and open Indo-Pacific. It seeks to ensure that the region remains a place where international laws are respected and trade flows freely without coercion. Strengthening its alliance network is crucial for the U.S. It is actively engaging with Asian leaders to reinforce these ties and counterbalance China's growing influence. Each power is playing a different game. Manila is hedging its bets, trying to balance its relationships with both Beijing and Washington. Beijing is courting Manila with economic incentives, while Washington reassures its commitment to the region's security. The Philippines desires the best of both worlds: Chinese financial investments to fuel its growth, and American military protection to ensure its security. China aims to become Manila's top partner, using its economic prowess as leverage to gain influence and sway decisions in its favor. The U.S. warns of the hidden costs associated with such partnerships, emphasizing the potential loss of sovereignty and democratic values that could arise from over-reliance on foreign powers. The future of the region hinges on how these competing interests are balanced. The geopolitical triangle is tense, with each nation maneuvering to secure its interests. The outcome remains uncertain, as the world watches closely to see how these dynamics will unfold and shape the future of the Indo-Pacific region. The Philippines' pivot sends shockwaves across Asia. Southeast Asian neighbors with their own South China Sea claims may feel pressured to strike similar deals with Beijing. U.S. allies like Japan and South Korea now question the reliability of American commitments. The risk a more militarized, unpredictable region as countries hedge their bets. Chinese investment could spur growth but also create debt dependencies and political leverage. The old Cold War lines are gone. Asia is becoming multipolar, with nations navigating between giants. Middle powers like the Philippines have more agency but also more risk. The region is in strategic flux, and every move matters. The new normal is uncertainty. The Philippines faces several possible futures. It could balance both superpowers, reaping economic rewards from China while keeping U.S. security ties, a diplomatic tightrope. Or it might drift deeper into China's orbit, risking sovereignty and weakening its U.S. alliance. The U.S. could counter with aid and security guarantees, pulling Manila back. Most likely, the Philippines will keep navigating between the two, creating ongoing uncertainty. The South China Sea will remain a flashpoint, and every decision will ripple across Asia. The Beijing handshake was just the beginning of a new, unpredictable chapter.